Okay, this is the week 3 discussion post for Foundations of Sociology, and the instructions were to read the reading and compose a video that answers the 3 questions. The first one is, of all the motives we discussed, debunking, unrespectability, relativization, and cosmopolitan, which one stands out the most and why? And I said, out of the 4 motives, relativization motive stands out the most. And that can be defined as the idea that there is no universal truth in the social world. Instead, truth is relative to different societies, cultures, and meaning systems. And in the article we read today, or this week, Letty understood the dangers of the toxic exposure within her neighborhood because of the plant right across the river. But Letty downplayed these risks, and she prioritized her sense of home and community. And this acts as a relativization because Letty's situation, it was defined by her personal truths and priorities, and not absolute or objective societal truth, because other people with completely different upbringings would probably choose a very different option than she did. And the second question is, how does something you read about for today connect to something you have read, watched, or heard? I would say, though disproportionate in the level of hardship from Letty's situation, during the Oregon fires in the summer of 2020, thick, dark smoke blanketed the state, and most evacuated from their homes. However, some stayed only until the flames got dangerously close, wanting to stay at home as long as possible, despite breathing in smoke and the risks it holds, especially those for respiratory issues like myself. In my situation, my family stayed at home, and luckily the flames never reached our home, but the smoke was bad. It was difficult to be outside for short periods of time, and it felt like living on another planet with the addition of the intense red sky. What questions do you have about what you read? My only question about what I read today, that article, would probably just be to ask why. Letty knew that she was putting her children in danger by living in that neighborhood, which was close to this toxic plant. Yet she stayed because that place was where she called home. She said she was more worried about having enough food to eat each day than catching cancer in 10 years. But she was decreasing the lifespan of herself and her children by living in that environment by the day. And there are other towns with food accessible and likely much more employment opportunities. The article mentioned there wasn't a lot of employment opportunities at the plant, and there's probably other towns with much more employment opportunities. And I just personally don't understand her decision making, and I would make a different choice if I were in her shoes, because I would prioritize the safety of the children, and living in that environment is not safe. So that is my response.